Hi, I'm Oliver. Welcome to today's book discussion. So, today I'm going to be talking about a disappointing book. Boo. Really. And disappointed because I didn't find it that good, and then disappointed because I expected so much out of it. So the book in question is Divergent by Veronica Roth. Veronica Roth. I never know how to say her name. So it was it's a dystopian novel. So I was sold on that, and from what I could read or whatever, that it had a strong female lead, and it was reminiscent of the Hunger Games. I know there's a truckload of young adult novel, and I've read and enjoyed the Hunger Games, so whenever they compare it to this one, I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's going to be worth my time. So I started. So the Hunger Game. Oh my God! Divergent is a fairly short novel. I think I read it in 2 or 3 days. So I don't know if some of the things are explained later on into the planned trilogy. So far, the second book is out, and the third, we're still waiting on the third one. So my review is based on my knowledge that I acquire solely on Divergent. So something happened in at least the United States. I don't know if it happened throughout the world, but in the States. And there are some people that lived and rebuilt the world. Now, I don't know if, for example, like every city is still alive, or if the sole survivor of the United States are concentrated in that one city that I'm reading about. That I don't know. So let's just say something happened in the States, and more precisely in Chicago, which is where the story takes place, and they decided to rebuild or learn from their mistake by changing society to make sure that the same problem that they had in the past wouldn't arise once again. So what they did is that they divided the society into 5 different factions. So I never know all of them by heart. Let me see, there's Candor, the Erudite, Amity, Dauntless, and Abnegation. So the honest one, the intelligent one, the peaceful one, the brave one, and the selfless one. Okay. So nobody really talks with one another. It has really fragmented society, so every faction stays within that faction. They never deal with outsiders or anything like that. That is except for young people. So education up until the age of 16 is a melting pot. So people are all in one building, if you will, or all together, even though there is stigmatization. So, you know, if you're raised into one faction, chances are you will not be talking to another faction. So, and I'm reading this and I'm thinking, really? That was the solution to the prior problem? Let's have people even more recluse and closed upon themselves and be judging the other ones and not wanting to get along with the other factions. That's not a solution. That's a problem anyway, so that wasn't good. And the way it goes is that usually children, when they're 16, at 16, when children are teenagers are 16, they choose which faction they want to spend the rest of their life with. And usually, people will remain in the same faction they've been brought up in, not knowing anything else about the world. They'll usually stick with what they know. So that's usually what happens in the case of the main character here and the family. So it's a mother and a father with two children, a daughter and a son, get to that ceremony at the same time in their life, and they both leave the family. So the daughter, Juice, was a selfless one. So the one, let's not, I'm only thinking about others, I never think about myself. She decided to become a tough one. So, and then we spend the rest of the novel within the faction. So it's, in that case, it's the Dauntless faction, so the tough one. And it's extremely violent. And, it's supposed to be, the whole point is we're going to teach you about fear and about overcoming your fear and about being self-reliant. That's not how it felt at all. It felt pointlessly violent and grotesquely violent, to be honest. And so that was somewhat of a turn on, and I didn't care about that part at all. And there's a huge part of the book that is all her going on about how she's in love with her instructor. And it's the whole crap about, whenever he's around me, I have this very weird feeling in my belly, and I get short of breath, and I feel lightheaded. Oh my God, what could this be? Literally, this is the way. Why am I feeling like this around this man? You're in heat, or you're in love. Either or. It's not an airborne virus that only occurs or attacks you when you're close to him. You have feeling for this man. Anyway, ugh. So, and that's sort of annoying and throughout. And then at the end there's a big war. So the war is between the smart one, the intelligent one, and the selfless one. That's all I can say. Why? And I felt like it was either a bad call or a misjudgment from the author or a missed opportunity or something. Why do you have your main character, and ergo our eyes through this world, through the story, be in a certain factions when the war brewing is between two other factions? That was so disappointing. Like, they get to war and I'm like, really? We've heard rumbles like, oh, the smart one don't really like the selfless one. The selfless one are in charge of the government, and we believe that the smart one should be in charge of power. And apparently they finally got their say and went to war and tried to get rid of the selfless one to take over the government. Okay, great, but why, how, who, or this? It's such a misinterpretation. I have no insight into the conflict. The conflict has not been explained to me. It's not a multi-layered conflict, even though it's war, so it should be. There's a lot of people who die in the war. One was particularly sad. It's one of the main character's friends. But also the mother died and the father died. And it didn't do much with me because I didn't spend a lot of time with either one of them. I don't know them. I didn't get to know them. Even though it was sort of clear that the main character was attached to them, she spent a lot of time trying to, let go of her old life and saying, I'm no longer with them. I'm now part of this faction. This faction is now my family. And then they both die, and I'm supposed to feel sad. How am I supposed to feel sad? So once again, I thought that was a missed opportunity, or just, a go to war, so I guess people have to die. It wasn't. Yeah, it felt to me weak or something. I didn't like it that much. the last thing I want to say is, and I don't mean this as an attack or, well, maybe an attack. I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. So, if you got an interest, if you're like me, an atheist, well, let's say I'm an atheist, and I have an outsider view onto religion. And what I see or feel, or what seems to be the consensus by some people, is that religion brings fragmentation. Meaning, you know, of course, the extreme example is religious wars, of course. But I mean, it's to a lesser extent. You know, my God is better than yours, or, you know, you don't want to mingle with somebody from who's not the same religion as you, or things like that. So, to me, I felt like it was a very clear parallel. Those 5 factions, I was like, are they a parallel to the 5 big religions? I don't even know if there's big 5 religions, but I felt like it was something like that. You know, yes, part of it is the factions of the book are, you know, nurture. You know, if you've been brought up into a faction, you'll probably stay within that faction, but it's still a matter of who do you believe is the best faction, and whose faction will you dedicate the rest of your life, which is what they do. They believe so strongly in their own faction that they stick to it, defend it, and live for it. Because they say over and over again, like faction before family or faction before blood. Stuff like that. So, to me, it was reminiscent of religion. And it was made clear by, if you read the acknowledgement, you know, the author says, "Thank you, God, for your son and for blessing me beyond comprehension." So that's why, to me, I was like, oh, that's a metaphor on religion. You know, it's like, oh, the first thing you want to mention is God. So, I don't know. To me, it was like that. And if it is the case, if it is a metaphor on religion, or a discussion on religion, or call it whatever you want to call it, the bad guys of the book are the smart one. And knowing that leaves a bitter taste in my mouth, thinking, you know, really, knowledge is the devil. You know? Yep. Yes. So what did you think? Am I the only one who saw it like that? Because I haven't read that. I don't think I've read reviews. Like, I've read maybe the Wikipedia page with a little bit of the critical response section, but no more than that. And in the few things that I've read, I don't remember anybody mentioning this approach or analysis or this angle. So what do you guys think? Am I totally off my knockers here? Anyway, let me know. So did you read the book? Did you like it? As you might have noticed, I didn't like it that much. I don't think I'm gonna be reading the second book. I don't even think I will go to the movie theater to see it. I was a little bit disappointed. I might give it a try to the book. Maybe the movie will be different. I don't know. Is there another young adult novel you think I should read? Keeping in mind that I hate vampires and stuff like that. I don't want to read City of Angels or City of Bones. Do you have another dystopian novel you think I can read, or another novel with a strong female character? That's always interesting for me to read. So I hope you're doing well, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you liked it. So until next time, take care. Bye.